It's been a while since I've seen you. I was doing pretty good there for a minute. It's like you always show up when shit goes bad. But you've always been there, haven't you? Ain't it kind of funny that, like, you're my only friend? You don't even talk. It just kind of shows how fucked up I am. I don't know. It's weird. Life is weird. Doctor says I should probably take my medication. Just seems like everybody leaves. Nobody stays. And here you are. Whatever, I'm like this. Makes me feel like sometimes I just shouldn't be here, you know? I'm talking to a shadow person. I guess I should thank you, honestly. It's really nice to see somebody's here for me.
Hey guys, Spencer Wolf here with Wolf Media, and we're introducing Film Tips and Tricks, which is a segment where we give you the insight of how to accomplish familiar looks from your favorite films and to give you a little behind the scenes on how I work my shoots. The first thing we're going to cover is motivated light. And what is motivated light? It's just that. It's a light source that is motivating the extra lighting that we add to a set. So in this first shot, our motivated light is the lamp. So by itself, with the camera on the tripod, you see that everything's way too dark. With just that lamp, all you see is the lamp. You don't see a lot of detail, and that is not gonna be usable. So the very first step we wanna do is we wanna enhance that lamp, and we want it to wrap around the side of his face to see a little bit more details. So we set a 300 watt tungsten Fresnel, ARRI tungsten Fresnel is what we're using, and we set a silk in front of it, and we have a flag placed on the left side to keep that light from bouncing onto the staircase behind him. So as you see, when we turn this on, you get a nice wraparound light here, and we'll call that a rim light. You have a nice wraparound light, and it gives a little more details, but most of all, it looks like it's motivated from the lamp or lamps inside of this house. Second motivated light is the moonlight. We needed some extra light on the outside to get the detail of the building to kind of sell the idea of night. So we have our camera white balance set at 4650 K, I think I want to say 4,650 degrees Kelvin. We have our LED light set at 10,000, and we're gonna use that for the blue moonlight. And as you can see with this blue, it's wonderful. What I forgot to mention is that we have another 4x4 floppy. Well, in this case, it's a black sheet for negative fill that we securely fastened to a couple stands. And this was to prevent any light coming from the street that prevent that from reflecting on the window. Moving on to our next shot was a wide shot. As you see in the storyboard here, It's a higher angle shot looking down onto the porch. So we didn't have the capability of getting the camera up high enough to shoot at that angle. My tripod can only go to about 6 feet, and I didn't want to have take the camera up on a ladder to get the shot and risk dropping the camera. So I know there's ways you can secure cameras onto ladders with beaver boards, but I didn't have one of those again. So we were using what we had then, and we got the angle that I feel okay about. So as you can see right now, again, it is way too dark. Behind him on that window are 2 lamps lit. So you have 2 practicals, and that's gonna be the first source of our motivated light, again, with those lamps. Now, I really want that light to spill out through those windows to help light the subject from the back and to create a little more highlights along the railing and on the bushes and etc. So I took 2 tween lights and I blasted those tungstens into the back side of that window from the inside, and that really helped kind of push that light out and substantially made it brighter. The second light, again with the moon, we wanted to get that moonlight back up, so we set the moon up far enough and bright enough, again with the 10,000 degrees Kelvin, to make sure that moonlight's coming through, and that's that motivated light source, because we wanted that light to really hit his face and to hit the top of the bushes and everything else. So that was with that second shot, and it's a nice wide shot here, and I think that sells it good enough. So to continue on to this next shot here, again, we have the tweenies inside, blasting the inside of that window to light the back of our talent. So we got those on. Let's go ahead and get those back on. And you can see, second light, again with the moonlight. We got that moonlight positioned, but we actually dimmed it down by about 50%. We wanted this to be more of a fill and not a key. So we dimmed it down a bit, and we added 250 watt softbox lights on the back side of him, just kind of, if he's sitting here, right about here, we set those up, and I wanted that there to kind of help separate him from the background again. I didn't like just the moon and just the lamps coming out of the window. I felt like it wasn't enough, and having the artistic mind that I have, which can be annoying, I wanted to add a little more flair or cinematography to this. So I added another backlight. I'm a huge fan of backlights. You can't go wrong with backlights. So let's go ahead and get that on. And now this looks amazing, and we can continue our shots with that. And for the final shot, okay, so it is nighttime. It is pitch black. We need to really enhance the light sources that are there, or add light sources. So first thing we're going to start with, we got our camera over the shoulder of our talent looking past him, and we needed to use a longer focal length here. We used a 50 millimeter, and the reason is because we didn't have a lot of throw with our lights. They weren't really bright, so we really needed to we really needed to close those lights in as close as we can to that talent without them being in the shot. We took those 250 watt soft boxes, and we placed them on this side here that just fill in a little bit to have that motivated moonlight. We have a 650 watt Arri tungsten Fresnel that I had aiming at the street behind him. I didn't want to hit him with the light per se. I wanted him to be a silhouette and stay as much as a shadow figure as possible without giving away any of his actual outline. So we aim this back onto the street, and it has a super orange glow. We used the full CTO, or color temperature orange gel, on this light, and spotted it onto the street, and it really replicates that sodium vapor look. If you remember those old street lights when you were a kid, or when we were in early 2000s, late 90s, the street lights had this orange hue to it, and they buzz real loud. And if you look at all the new street lights, they got those white LED looks. So I wanted to replicate that orange. It's just something about me, nostalgia-wise, that makes me feel like this is a horror film from then. So those two light sources are what's the motivation there. You got the sodium vapor street light here hitting the back of him, and then you have the moonlight here with the 150 watt softbox lights. And what was great is that it rained earlier that day. So the street was wet, and it kind of enhances the look, creates more lighting refractions, which in the end turns into a more cinematic shot. And you always wonder, if you ever look back at films, the street's always wet, and it's called wetting the scene and wetting the street. They would literally take a hose out and just wet the street down in order to gain that cinematic look with all the lights reflecting off the water. It's something they do purposely. And even if it didn't even call for the script, you know, they're gonna have a wet street. And especially night shots. Night shots, they always want wet streets. It's just kind of one of those unwritten rules and in history of film that create the cinematic look. And that's what you tend to find out why something looks cinematic, is because subconsciously it's something that you've seen forever and ever and years as you grow up watching movies, and you don't really know that you're seeing it, but it's there. So that is all with our lighting today. Enjoy this little short clip the little short film that we created out of this. And I'd like to say thanks to Draymond Bobbitt and Adam Abbott for helping out on this shoot, for being the stand-ins. And look for more of these film tips and tricks that we're going to be putting out.